We're live, but let's get it started. Let's let people come in, and then.
Okay. I hope there's no Irish people coming in because they can be trouble, you know.
I think Shaman.
Oh,
How do you say
Janine.
Janine. You know, I always the reason that
unveiling this apocalypse.
I always want to say that is because that movie,
you know, all this discussion
that Tom Hanks and Nicole Kidman did when they came to America from Ireland.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think
the whole movie. Yeah, the whole movie. What is it called? What was it called?
Don't know. Remember? Can't remember.
But any better than this.
But it was. He would always say, "Shannon, Shannon." So I always want to say, once I get figured out, I was saying the first part wrong, which is like Sinead, right?
Janine.
Right.
Janine.
See, I can't.
Janine, yeah. It's Celtic for scallywag.
Scallywag.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rebel Reiki, she does. Rebel Reiki.
Yeah.
I hope she can't hear us because she'll.
Oh, I'm sure
she'll banjacks this whole program.
No, man, she's a special lady.
Indeed.
So yeah, I think, and actually she's a God, man. I should have probably combed my hair today, right? What the hell? I had to move into another apartment. There she is. She's laughing out there. I see her.
Oh God.
We got 38. Oh hell, let me get everything straight. I had to move from one apartment to another, but that's a blessing. Last night, in between 5 shows. Let's see here.
I've got a message for you, by the way. You know, in that time when you get bored and you've got to set up a prison cell, it's actually a recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know what that means. I got to just tell him that to spend that time in between shows, he should be making a special effort to go back and record his stuff.
Yeah, who said that?
I don't know. I just got it. I went for a brisk walk this morning.
Oh, you got it from the you, me, we, and it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you know, look, we're going to get into whatever you want to get into in a few minutes.
I've got no idea. I'm hoping that
well, I have some things. That have come out very clearly. We have to be transparent. One of those things is let me get this lined up first so I can chew gum and walk at the same time. Let's see. Prove it. All right. Get down. There we go. I feel like I'm talking to a dog. Down. Okay. So Nasia, Evie Anastasiadi, Bo James, Amanda Lowe, Mary Cooper, Michael Fox is in the house. Shanine is in the house. I said it right. Janine Banrian. Dr. Joe is the jester, now knows everything, pretends he doesn't. Ha. She is to me, she's the same ilk as Morgan. She's got that Merlin's daughter thing going, you know.
Oh.
And you know, and I'm really cool with that, but you know, like when, you know, it just scares me sometimes when, you know, if Morgan twinkles her nose, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, like
absolutely.
Yeah, I've got some funny stories on that. All right, Aline says yes and dance. Aline, very good friend of mine, Sabager, Norway. Mary Lou, J Love, Anna Irina, Debbie Manning Kelly. Michael Van Patten's in the house, and that's an important man. Shanine's husband's agreeing with me. So she twinkles her nose and things happen. Yeah. I just want to know one thing, Shanine's husband. Have you ever been laying in bed with her and her face starts to morph into different incarnations, and one of them's Callie where the tongue's hanging down like this far, you know? I made fun of her, and the next morning I had an accident happen. She said, "Are you making fun of me about last night?" And I had my back to her, and I was like, "No, of course not. Are you being a smart ass?" That's what she said. Well, I was in a hotel. We were in a hotel. We had a little 4-day honeymoon in a cheap hotel. This was after we got married last year, and so I go to pick up my shirt off of the hanger in the hotel. And over here, I don't know about over there, but they've got these hangers in the hotels that have a little point on them. You know what I'm talking about? They have a point on it, a little groove. and I flipped the shirt off, and the damn hanger went flying in the air. Okay. And that point landed right on my center toe, right on. And I screamed bloody murder. I screamed bloody murder, and she laughed her ass off. And I had a big blood blister for about 3 months. And she'd always say, if I got a little, if I got a little cheeky, she'd say, why don't you take a look at your toe? Take a look at your toe. Do you need a reminder? You need another reminder? No. So I think there's some things to talk about. Let me just say hello to Louis Machi, who's been a big contributor energetically and otherwise consistent, a good brother in New York City. It's good to see you. Rebecca Williams, who runs a Soulogy group, as an admin, best admin we've ever had. She doesn't complain. Jody Lee Wittes. I just want to say I was looking at Jody Lee's memes this morning, and she's like the meme queen, man. I've asked her to come on, and she says no, maybe one day, but she has the best stuff every day. Her and a few other people I really like. So yeah, I wanted to talk about a couple things, and we can go longer than an hour if you want to. You said, you went for a walk this morning and you got a message for me. And I said, well, I didn't know that. And I said, well, who told you that? And you said, I don't know. It's the you, me, we, and it, right? The universe. This seems to be something that's happening more and more. And I can't be the only one. I did a show, what was it, 2 nights ago with Marita Shashan, who is incredible. And she's doing a rose heart meditation. In the middle of it, she starts channeling, starts telling me, you need to own up to your role in Soulogy. And I'm like, this is a collective effort, it's not just me. And I didn't really understand it at the time, but the message was, you need to own it. And not you own Soulogy, you are Soulogy. No, it's understandable. There's many people involved, Morgan, you, everyone that's watching this energy, right? Lewis, Aline, Cheryl Conroy, she's been around. Rebecca, Monique, Henry, a good friend there. Amir Beth, new friend. So I understood a little bit that was a direct message for me. And she even said it. I don't know where this is coming from, Todd. You just need to own it, right? Kind of thing. That was kind of the message. The same thing happened yesterday, the following day. The same thing happened spontaneously. And now you're kind of telling me something that was already there, by the way, because the music thing's coming back into it. Now, this is all just a personal explanation. As the individual goes, so goes the collective, right? All I'm trying to say is that telepathy is expanding. Our ability to carry messages for other people effortlessly is expanding. That's part of the telepathy. But I think the real big issue today, to me, if what I'm gathering is that, and I talked about it a little bit last night, and that is that the divine masculine energy has landed and has firmly stabilized, has its equilibrium. We're talking energy. Yes, most of it in the external looks like a male incarnation in the physical body. It's not always that way. It's affecting each and every one of us. And I'm watching it with men and I'm watching it with women. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm watching it with myself. I'm being told, embrace your role, own your role, step into your power. Playtime's over. This is going to be fun, but own your role. And I'm watching this happen to women and men. I'm watching women. And I'm not an expert on this stuff, but I've heard quite a few, primarily women, explain on this show that that's the masculine part. The masculine part is the doer, The masculine part is the protector and the it's the old energetic hunter, type of thing. So I see this happening. And I think this is what's going on now. Her energy came to over 2 or 3 years. It stabilized. Because when you throw in an energy like that, just like the masculine coming in, it affects everybody. It's like jumping into a pool and all the water starts, doing that, and then it's got to level off. This energy that I'm describing, the divine masculine energy that's come in, hasn't taken us as long to assimilate because the divine feminine came first and blazed the trail, basically.
Yeah.
This is just the way the story goes this time, this go around. I'm sure it's been flip-flopped at other times, and it really doesn't matter. What matters is what's happening now. And I'm seeing it in myself, and I'm really being conscious of what's happening with myself, very careful, being alone. Morgan's taking time alone right now. Nothing about us. This is just important to information to get out there. A lot of people have talked about the 15th through the 21st. We know the 21st is the equinox. It's an important time. It's an important opportunity. So I just wanted to share that. And this is the intel that I'm getting for Todd, but also I see it for everybody, because the more of us that step into our role, I think most of us know what our mission is. And if we don't know what our mission is, we know one thing: to thine own self be true. Keep on shedding the shadows, keep on with the self-introspection, keep on with the desire to grow and expand. And that is, you know, just as the fourth dimensional archon energies fed off of us, sustenance was our fear and such. Our sustenance is each one of us stepping into our power, because it lights our souls up, and consciously or unconsciously, our brothers and sisters pick up on that, and then they mirror it, and it grows exponentially. So anyway, I wanted to throw that one on you. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, thanks for that, brother. I agree totally with you. I agree. I think that that certainly happened since I met. Right. I've had every single disease under the sun, every single pain, every form of cancer that anybody could possibly have. Right? No, I'm just sort of joking in a way, because I know clearly what's happening is that the soul's coming through. It's working its way through the physical body and out the other side, you know, because the soul, the essence, it's our real selves, okay? Yeah. And this energy is feminine driven. In a medical technical way, it's driven by the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve, right, I've always associated with the sacred feminine. Another thing is, the sacred feminine to me always comes in the form of the dark. I have the Black Madonna who's been with me all of my life. Right. And the other thing is, as well, is Metatron. I didn't know I was going to talk about this, but I will do. You know, I went to Glastonbury many years ago, about 25 years ago. I didn't really understand, but I just kept getting all these weird feelings, you know, and I was directed into one of these bookshops there, and I was directed to a book called Subtle Energy Medicine. And, you know, Todd, I didn't have a clue about all this stuff, but I'd already woken up. I could feel this guidance going on. So I just go with it, you know, and I've picked up this book. It was on a subject called radionics. And radionics is associated with homeopathy, which is all associated with very subtle vibrations, you know. And when I picked this book up, it was as if a light went on in my heart to say, son, this is the area that you will be talking about in the future. And, you know, and so I went along with it. And while I was there, I came across a place where you could go and have your soul tuned. Right. And I thought, well, I think I'll go and get me soul tuned, you know. And so I went in, and it was a Metatronic healing sanctuary. And I went in, and it was pure white. There was crystals everywhere. You know, and first and foremost, I'm a scientist, you know, and I have a healthy skepticism about everything, really. I don't believe anything at all until I sort of get the thing that goes in my heart click. Yeah. You see, it's no longer a belief then. It's a truth in me. I know. I go from knowing about to knowing. Something happens in me, and I feel, this is the way forward. And I've continued to live like that. Anyway, I sat in this chair with this beautiful music playing, and it was almost like a vibrating chair, and it was in the shape of a pyramid. And Todd, when I came out, I was flying, you know. I had my soul tuned. It was going better than my car, you know. And since then, you know, everything's just gone forward slowly but surely. And recently, in the last few months particularly, I mean, I've always felt energies coming in, you know, and to me, And in complementary and alternative medicine, any pain, whether we like it or not, is an obstruction to the flow of spirit in the human body. Okay,
let's just say one thing there, because let me ask you, and then continue if you would. Anything that makes us uncomfortable, any pain, any emotional discomfort, any what is that? Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like her. I don't like him. Anything, is it on us? Does it have anything to do with anything on the external? No matter who or what the physical representation is, no matter how close they may or may not be to you.
I sort of don't see it like that. I see it all about feeling. It's all about soul's progress. The whole of human life, to me, is for the soul to progress through feelings, you know. And I think if you're get in touch with your energy body, which is your soul, and you feel a discomfort, I've been trained into, don't grit your teeth and get through it. I mean, that's the way, is to stop, take a step back, go inwards, and say to yourself, this is why I say, what's the lesson in this for me? Because I've been taught, Knox, I've been taught that whether we like it or not, any emotional pain is, and there's only two things that cause obstruction: fear on the one hand, so that's the emotional side, and pride on the other. So pride will say, I don't need to look at this, and fear will say, I don't want to look at this. Right? And once you see both those, sorry mate, just let me do this. Once you see both those and step back from it, and sort of become objective about your subjectivity, you can clearly see the action that then needs to be taken. That's the way I've tried to live my life for quite a long time now, and it seems to be quite successful. Yeah,
and yeah, we're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. That's the question I was framing. Okay, that's the answer I was looking for. And all I was trying to say is because one of the things that you were cutting out. That's why I was. Okay, so one of the things I've been noticing is that there's people stepping into their power. There's people stepping into their role. I've actually been it's been a gift and a blessing to watch this, like over the last 3-4 days. Like this lady we had on last night, this incredible divine feminine Gayatri with the dragons. She just met the dragons in October. She's been doing this stuff for years. If I look at Marita's been working for 20 years with and it's evolved to the Rose Heart. Most of her dynamics, most of her best stuff has come in the last few months. You know, everybody, look what I know about you, because we've had enough shows, and I know what your journey is and what you're starting to do. You're fulfilling your prophecy. You're fulfilling your potential. You're expanding the outer breadth of Mother Universe that's flowing for you. I watched a couple of your videos. I mean, you can tell that you know what you're doing and you love what you're doing. And I think that's what I'm trying to describe. That's the frequency that I'm observing in people. The reason I wanted you to make the distinction about is that anything external really got any power over you is because I still see that happening with people. I call it comparative separation. You know, that pride, the way you explain that pride really is more of a driver than the fear is now. I think people have said, okay, fear, the hell with that, I'll go through that door. But the pride thing, that's a big one. And I hadn't heard anybody put it like that. So that was a really well-explained explanation. So I just wanted to say that and bring that in and let everyone know what I always try to say, and that is, look, man, go easy on yourself and go easy on everybody else. That kind of negates the pride thing. It's like, hey, we're all buck naked out here in the middle of nowhere going through this stuff.
No, I agree, mate. I mean, you know, I see it that we're 7.5 billion frequencies, and we all need to play in this big orchestra together. And some of us are out of tune, you know, so we can help people to get back into tune, you know. And I think this thing that the Foxes were talking about, synesthesia, that's the area that I've been interested in for many, many years. And one of the ancient Egyptians have played a big part in my life, you know, for my interest side of things. And there's one particular bloke right, called Imhotep. Now, Imhotep, right, initially he was a human being that was raised to the level of a god, you know, but his bag was vibrational medicine. And I've taught vibrational medicine now for maybe 25 years. And to me, it's what Tesla said, really, you know, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, focus on energy, frequency, and vibration. And that's what my life's all become about now, because I've been given the ability now to subtly sense at a deep level where people's souls are up to, you know. And if you want to call that psychic, then it's psychic, you know. But generally speaking, when I'm working with people, they may think they're at one place, but I can tune into exactly where they are, you know. And, you know, I just sometimes have to be quite curt with people and just knock them out with love, basically, and just bring them back to the place, because we can't change from somewhere we're not at. That's what I was told quite clearly. So if we can help people gently to get to the place where they are, then it's much easier then for them to start taking steps in the right direction, you know. And I joke a lot, as you know, but, you know, there's a very, very serious side of me. And I've been told also, you know, Joe, you're a leader in this field, so start leading. And then my ego comes in to say, you know, there can't be anybody better than anybody else. And I get, it's not about being better. It's all about personal lived experience. So share your experience, share your hope, share your strength with people, right? And it's that resonance that will get them at the level of the soul that will cause them to fall in line, if you like, you know. And sometimes I feel like the Pied Piper of Hamelin, you know, playing a particular tune, you know, and helping people to find themselves. My big things like Morgan's, you know, if somebody comes to me for help and I never tell them what to do or give them advice. Well, the only advice I give them is what you're looking for is in there. And I'll show you a technique whereby you can get your heart to a still point. You can open the gates of your heart, and then you can tune in and listen to the action that you need to take next. I'm awfully serious tonight by the look of it, but I'll try and think of a joke in a minute. I'm stepping into my power.
No, but see, what you just said is the same thing I've been observing. And that is that it's no longer about they're not awake, or this person, do they like me, or do you see what I'm doing? You know, hey, do you know what I can do? I can connect to, you know, Jesus. I can, you know, whatever. You know, I'm not being sacrilegious, but the point is, we all know what's happened. There is enough information that has gone into our cognitive, into our conscious mind. We know illusion. We know examples, the Royals, 9/11, you know, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. None of it can touch us. Nothing can touch us. So now it's time. The universe is putting people in situations, putting them in the corner, forcing them to step into their power. And this is early in this part. This is early in this phase. And we can make a conscious effort now, like you're doing and like I'm doing. I'm doing it. You know, this message you gave me this morning, I've known, this is just a personal reflection. Again, as the individual goes, so goes the collective. I was told 2 years after I was given Soulogy, oh, there's music involved. You know, and I didn't know what the hell, you know, I didn't know what to do with it, but I just went downstairs. I turned on some music. I started reading some poetry, and it just evolved and evolved and evolved. I started doing a radio program. I started putting other people's music out there. I've gotten away from that for the last 3 months. I do the shows with the Foxes, Michael and Carrie Fox. I do the show with the Powers, Heather and Jason Michael Powers. Music. It's very important. Light language. Romeo Barron does a light language rap from Compton to straight out of Eazy-E's beat. I won't name the song because it's got too many F-bombs in it. And I love it. But my point is we know what to do. It's time. Enough talking. It's time. And all we got to do, it's not about, hey, do this and hey, do that. It's really just that infinite intelligence communicating with the individual and saying, you do your job. You do your thing. You know, look in your heart. What is it that you love? I'm Dr. Joe. I love to crack jokes and bring wisdom in that way. And I love to speak in front of people. I'm ready. I've done my research. I'm ready. I'm in, you know, and this is where we're at now. There's no more talking about it. There's no more looking for external saviors or solutions. It's us.
Oh no, I agree totally, mate. And this morning while I was walking in the forests and the woods, you know, I was talking in light language out loud. And, you know, I have one tree that I go to have a word with in the morning, you know, and stuff like that. I am a tree hugger, and I have been for a long, long time. But it's almost when I put my arms around this tree, everything opens up, right? My heart opens, my soul comes out, and so does the light language, you know. And the other thing is, I always get this vision, and we talked about dragons this morning, my picture of Metatron. Right. And my ego wanted it to be a nice white gold flowing loving thing, you know. And what it is it's massive, like Batman. It comes in, it's a black dragon, right? It's ferocious, it's got claws and red eyes, but it loves me, it's protecting me. No, honestly, Todd, and you know,
I totally relate. So
and it talks in this language. You know, and I'm thinking, oh,
I'm going to have to get a crucifix if you do that again.
Yeah, well, exactly. And since I was a young child, Todd, I used to have a recurring dream when I was 7 years of age that I was falling down the stairs and the devil, right, was there with his pitchfork. This is 7 years of age. I was terrified. And when I saw that film, The Exorcist, it frightened the bleeding daylights out of me, you know, because I was brought up in all that fear. I was brought up with original sin and all that sort of business. My whole life has been about fear and terror. And if I don't do the right thing, I'm going to hell. I think that I was in hell even before I was born, you know, but there's a purpose for it, really, you know. And I do this talk called The Mummy's Curse, and I can see that mums who are afraid, right, when they're carrying their children. I mean, let's be honest, it's the preparation of the vehicle in which the soul inhabits. I can see that very, very clearly now. But I did a talk recently about mum, you know, maybe one of the biggest things humanity should be looking forward for now is how we treat our pregnant mums. You know, if we can treat them with the sacred kindness and gentleness and help, then we'll be preparing the vehicles so that the new consciousness can come in and save the fucking, save the planet.
Okay.
Mate.
It's okay. This is Soulogy, man.
Yeah, but I feel so strongly about it because I think that mood and food in pregnancy will determine the rise or the demise of the next generation. And I don't know why. Well, I know why, because it's obviously part of my soul's mission.
That's what I was going to say. It's obviously, it's obviously part of what you're doing. There's no question about it, you know, because, and so there's missions within the mission, right?
Yeah.
The primary mission. And so some people will say, I wish I knew what my mission was or whatever the case is, right? There's degrees of everything. Bottom line is the number one mission is creating this clear channel, and everybody has a direct link to infinite intelligence and knows what's good for them. If we're going out there saying, how do I do it? How do I do it? It's okay. It's okay to gather information, but at the end of the day, you got to go to that place you talk about. You got to go into your heart, into your space, and you can communicate, and it will happen in the way it's meant to happen for you, and you will hear it. You know, I eat hamburgers. Okay. Sorry. You know, I mean, I like hamburger steak with gravy on it. You know, I don't do it all the time. You know, I mean, whatever it is, we know how to align ourselves. And that's the main thing. And then we have these other missions. And I really think that what you're talking about is one part of your mission. And that's a great mission because you're actually carrying forward new universes in those wombs, you know, and giving them the best. And you know what, energetically speaking, non-physically speaking, that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing.
I love it, mate. And you know, my mum, right, I was brought up in a very, very strict Irish Roman Catholic background. You know, my nan read tea leaves, you know, she was a psychic, right? My mum is a supremely sensitive woman, you know, and she was afraid carrying me, You know, when she was having me, she was afraid all the time, you know. And I know that I was born as a supremely sensitive child. And basically, I was on her leg till I was 37 years of age, you know. And really, I lived all her fears and all her worries and all her concerns. It was almost like it was transmitted into me, you know, and I can see the purpose of that now. And the hardest thing was my mum, right, was never going to let go of me. I had to break, you know, cut the apron strings, you know, and I see that clearly now. You know, I've had a love-hate relationship with my mum most of my life. You know, she's the person I've been most strongly attached to, and the one that I've really, if I was really in trouble, she would be the one that I would blame for all my difficulties and stuff like that, you know. Because I'm objective about it now, I love her with all my heart now, you know, and I take her out every Saturday and we have lunch together and stuff like that, you know. And, you know, I feel a bit sad talking about it, but
that's a powerful thing, bro.
Yeah. But I think mums and boys, you know, a mother's love, you know, is so powerful. But I believe that mums have to let go of their children sooner or later, you know.
Absolutely.
Probably sooner, you know. I can also see, and some mums don't like what I say here, but some mums, right, pass their failures onto their children in a way when they say, you know, I'm not having you going down that road that I went down. You see what I mean? So my mum was very influential in my life because I listened to everything she said, you know, every word that she said, because I loved her and I didn't want to fall out with her. I actually followed all the instructions that she gave me. And I can see now that probably that's not the way forward, you know. There's that beautiful poem, you know, your children are not your children. They come through you, not from you, you know. And once I saw that by Khalil Gibran, you know, it made so much sense to me, you know. And I'm not blaming mums. Of course I'm not, you know, hardest job in the world, really. But what I'm saying is maybe we need to start looking at this in a different way, you know. And maybe the sacred feminine is actually coming in to tutor mums in a different way, you know.
Well, I think there's there's a lot. Well, look, you can't really move. You know, Morgan taught me this. You can't really move forward until you're aware and you can admit something. So we're doing a lot of this stuff individually, and then obviously it parlays into the collective. Here's a comment from Monique Hendry. She's been on a couple of times. Good friend, great friend from South Australia. She says, really, it's a woman's entire life that nurtures the eggs. They are in us from birth. The vehicles for future generations are always within the female. By returning her to sacredness, we elevate the human race to divinity, which is what you were talking about. And that's why I've come to these conclusions, or my own truth, recently, is because I sat there and I watched, and I actually had a front row seat with Morgan, but also in the work I do, that the feminine came in late 2015, 2016, 2017, and you saw the energy of that energy change, always for the better, you know, leading us into this time. And now this other energy's come in because she's paved the way. And there is an equilibrium developing, and it's creating a third energy that's represented by part of your mission, which is a new incarnation, a physical human being, a divine human being, being born into the world that is quickly becoming the integration of physical and non-physical at some level that we're learning more about every single day. So it's a very important energetically what you're talking about. And I think that's another thing that's happening to everybody too, is that we're it's not that we're de-emphasizing the physical actions, but we're putting more emphasis into the non-physical energetic effects of what we do, think, say, you know, and that type of thing. So I think what you're talking about in terms of having reverence for creation, I mean, for all intents and purposes, a masculine energy can't bear a child, you know. So you're talking about creation carrying a new universe in her womb, and taking physical actions and initiatives to support that, you know, and that carries a powerful energetic repercussion through all dimensions. This is the power that we have now. It's not just changing the earth, it's changing every universe, every dimension, all across the board.
But I think that we can do things physically. Last time I was on, I showed you the hand on the heart thing. You know, I call that the cradling the sacred child. So it's to really feel that sensation in the chest and the abdomen, right? And really draw in the breath. I mean, this has been my work for a long time. It was the subject of my PhD, right? How mindful breathing with a caring and loving attitude changes everything. Because I think if we get to breathing, you know, it takes a bit of practice, because most people breathe between 12 to 15 breaths a minute at rest. So then we can train to come to 12 breaths per minute, then down to 9, and then round about 6. And at 6 breaths per minute, believe it or not, the vagus nerve, which is the feminine aspect of the nervous system, it's that slows everything down in a nurturing way. And what actually happens, Todd, is as we get to about 6 breaths per minute, right, the masculine and the feminine align perfectly. And it's at that point when we get a big rise then, and the soul comes out, or there's that immaculate conception, if you like. And if people can do that, this mindful breathing, right, it's hacking physiology to change psychology. It's completely the opposite way round from cognitive behavioral therapy, because we've been trying to use thoughts get this way, and we need to down this way, you know. And there's loads of science now. There's loads that we put out from this open heart transmits information magneto-electrically, starts to change the way our brain waves work, which starts the way it changes the choices we make based upon positive and healthy options rather than defensive options, you know. So really, we have got physical stuff to do as well.
Oh, I agree. I agree. And what I'm saying is when we do these physical things, it has energetic repercussions. Now we're talking about, you know, what you're talking about with the breathing. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, my first Kundalini experiences came through breathing, you know, very simple. And of course, I didn't know the literal explanation of it, what you just explained, but that would probably fall in line with what I did, you know, take it down to 4, 5, 6 breaths a minute. So you have that. It's like a mudra, right? Right. So that's another physical way to bypass to bypass conventional methods of conscious, you know, cognitive therapy, like you were talking about. Then the other one I'm talking about is, and I've been saying this for a long time, not that I know anything, but it's obvious that no matter who you are, where you are, what's going on, you can affect across all dimensions from where you're at. You are the center of the universe. So if you have this alignment of the mind and the heart and the gut, so to speak, and part of that is what you just said about what you feel so passionate about and what you are initiating in terms of creating a wider awareness to basically nurture in the human sense an unborn child and the mother that's carrying that child. Just the intention from your heart is energetically blowing up, lighting up the grid and going into all dimensions. This is part of it. This is the part I was saying where there's less, it's not that there's less emphasis on the physical, there's more awareness and understanding and emphasis on our non-physical power, if you want to put it in those terms. And we're not taking anything away from the physical. In fact, what we're doing is a lot like what's just happened. You know, the feminine energy rose up here, you know, the masculine energy was down here, and now it starts to come up. So we're actually, the physical, we have been overemphasizing the physical. Did I get enough people? Did I get enough likes? Am I in the headlines? Did I get enough exposure and fame and money and all the stuff that we've gauged this? But now the non-physical is coming in, and that non-physical will union with the physical. And this, I believe, is what we're doing. This is what I think we're going to see. I believe we're going to see miracles, supernatural things happening very rapidly, and it's going to become common. We're breaking this door down, raising this dimension to a level that the universe has never seen. Physical matter doing non-physical things.
I couldn't agree more, and I can feel that. You know, I said last time that I was a master of Reiki, you know, and there's all these energy things coming in now, and we're supposed to be moving beyond Reiki, and I sort of have a sense of what that means. It's a sort of more powerful, more directive, more sort of focused energy. That's what I feel in me anyway. But also, people are, you know, they're having all sorts of pains in different parts of the body. There are simple techniques that we can use, because energy follows thought. But if you can use your energy and your breathing in a certain way, you can actually go to that particular area of your body and breathe through it and get the lesson from it as well. I'm having problems with my ankles at the moment, and I've always had that. When I was born with scoliosis and congenital hip dysplasia. So I've always had problems with my hips and my legs. It's almost like I'm being taken backwards now, not just in working on psychological stuff and past memories, but I'm also the physical things that happened when they should have been normal, if you like. I'm being taken back now, and that's being worked on now. So my physical body is also being worked upon as well. And I know this now, so I'm doing a lot of yoga techniques, a lot of energetic techniques, and my physical body is changing to be much more strong now. And I've followed a lot of, I mentioned last time, Mantak Chia techniques, and I'm following that really to the letter. And, you know, saints used to beat themselves. You know, people thought it was self-flagellation, but what they were doing is they were removing energetic blocks, really, to allow the energy to come through as their bodies were being spiritualized. I'm on one tonight, mate, so forgive me, but it's just that I think if you get out of the way and allow this to come through, then these miracles happen faster. It's almost like a fast track to miracles.
Now, what were you saying? What technique you brought up before? I didn't remember that. You said it before. You talked about the saints hitting themselves.
Oh yeah. So they used to hit themselves with bundles of sticks. You know, it's a bit like EFT, emotional freedom technique, where we tap certain energy centers. Well, as we release the energy there, if there's blocks in the skin, then we need to tap those up so that the skin opens and the radiance shines through, you see. So Tai Chi, Qigong, all these sorts of things, they used to be used for, the masculine used it for defense and vim and vigor and violence, right? But it's well known that people, they can turn around and understand that all this can be used for healing as well. So once they let go, the energy's still there waiting to come out as healing energy as well. That's why lots of people who've been in brawls and fought and violence all their life, when they get transformed, they start to see that their understanding of how the body works for defense can also be turned around for healing purposes as well. You know, so they know the spots on the body to actually kill you, right? But they know the spots on the body that can heal you as well.
Oh, I like that. That's a good meme. They know the spots that can heal you, the spots that can kill you. What was I going to ask you? I can't remember now. Oh, yeah, like isometrics. You know, I do some isometrics sometimes, and I've known people that have done it. Actually, first time I ever saw it was by a guy who was with the Yankees for a very short period of time. I worked with him 15, 20 years ago. He was already probably in his 70s and solid. And that's what he would do. He would do isometrics. But I know now it was more than that. Energetically, he was programming himself. He was coordinating everything, the breathing, the muscles, the blood work, everything. Yeah. And I think that's coming into play too, you know, is the power of programming. You know, we can actually program, and this isn't, you know, so much as positive affirmations, although I'm not saying that that's not worthy, but we have moved into a different phase, a quantum phase. We have these skills and abilities turned on. You know, something has blocked, or been unblocked or removed collectively. We can get into all the descriptions of that, but the bottom line is, like, you know, for instance, you know, Morgan taught me about the morphic field. You know, I had a headache, or, you know, a couple of weeks ago when she was here, and I said, I can either take this acetaminophen, this Tylenol, aspirin, whatever it is. I can either take this, or I can go into the morphic field and pull it down. And I tried it, and it worked. And so I've been doing it with other stuff, you know, slowly try this, slowly try that. So I think there's a lot of stuff that we have and we can do, and there's a lot of stuff that we're finding out we can do. And the great thing about it is anyone that can do something, anyone else can do it. And that's exciting too. I think that type of information and ability is expanding with that same contagious effect that I was talking about earlier, you know?
I agree, mate. And I've met Rupert Sheldrake, who talks a lot about morphic resonance and morphic fields, you know. And that book I picked up, The Subtle Anatomy of Man, right? That was all about etheric formative forces. And basically it starts off as sound and light, right? Yeah. And this is Pythagoras' shapes and stuff like that. It's when I ask my students, you know, okay, so we've got the sperm and the egg is activated and it starts to divide. I said, how does a heart cell know where to go next when all the genetic information is the same in each of the daughter cells that keep dividing? How then does a heart cell go to the place of the heart? The kidneys become the kidneys. Now, modern medicine cannot answer these questions, you know, but quantum medicine can, and it's known this for a long time. And that's what I'm trying to say is it's things like, if you remember the thalidomide episode, right? To me, that was taking a chemical which altered the vibrational rate of the developing fetus, which caused all those problems. And that's the point I'm trying to get across. That the field's called epigenetics and nutrigenomics. That's the field that's coming in. And I'm starting to see now that if we get the chemicals right in the amniotic fluid and we have this elixir of life, then that's a good start. But then it's all the vibrational stuff then. So we can use light therapy, music therapy, touch therapy, all these therapies, a multi-sensory approach, multimodal, and that will create the perfect vehicle in which the soul incarnates, you know. And I don't talk about this when I'm giving talks to medical students.
Why not?
Because I'd be escorted out of the door, but I really feel...
you had a message for me. I'm going to give you one.
Yeah.
Get ready, because you're going to be doing it. And that's the kind of energy I think that's happening. Defy.
Yeah.
You know, limitations are limitations. I don't care what it is. But one thing's for sure, and I'm not coming down on you. I'm just telling you, get ready, because the day's coming. You know, it's coming. You know, it's time to... And that's another thing, too, because... that's so important. We've been talking about this for months on the show, is the expansion of the throat chakra coming from the heart. You know, truth coming out in a wider expanse, because the alignment of the physical, of the human, the overcoming of suppression energetically that's been on the feminine part of us for centuries and eons, right? So it's important that we speak. And it's not even the words, it's the frequency. Souls pick up on the frequency of whoever's talking, period. And it's not even always verbal, but I'm just saying they get it. They get it. That's it. It's like, it is quantum. It's that quantum medicine that you're talking about, if you want, a quantum science or whatever you want to call it.
No, I agree, mate. And the other thing is, people are more and more, they're going back to ancient texts and the language of light and the you know, the pictorial stuff, like the Pleiadian pictorial stuff. People are just looking at that now and changing. They're starting to feel the vibration, the language and the music of light and stuff like that is changing people. So my job as well is to try and get as many avenues and vibrational systems in where people can be transformed just by looking at these things in a multi-sensory way, really. And you had Paul Luftenegger on recently as well. I'm working with Paul, right? And, you know, his music is beautiful. It's conscious music. It's directed from the heart. I'm also working with somebody called Kate Lumley, who's, you know, she's an artist, you know, and she's developing this universe, you know, like ewes and sheep and stuff like that. And all her stuff is from the heart, and it's in particular colors. So what we're trying to do is bring the books together for children, but it's also for the inner child of parents as well. So I'm hoping that all this science, you know, because they've got me down as some sort of mad scientist. I can't understand why, but, you know, and they're calling me Dr. Lightheart, you know, and stuff like this. So I'm going to try and get this message across in a way that most people will understand. But Todd, you know, people know this because when they go to the pictures, the cinema, right, and the music plays and it starts to increase in, you know, and all that sort of business, people's emotions open up, right? And so what we're trying to do is use the same sort of system, right, to reconfigure any blockages in people's systems so that they can get back in touch with their intuition more readily. Because as you say, you know, it's not about us telling anybody anything. It's about pointing them back to where their soul's mission is, and that's deep within themselves, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm up to.
True. Yeah.
And they'll probably get you to do a song or two in this system as well, you know, and I'll be backing you, you know, with some shamanic drum, you know, and we can do, you know, and you know, we're dead serious, but in a light-hearted way. I mean, I call myself seriously light-hearted because I know I'm on the right path. And also, by the way, I have started sneaking the stuff into medicine when I'm giving my talks. In fact, I'm giving one tomorrow to a load of medics, you know, and I maybe say I'm inspired by the Archangel Metatron or something, you know, and have a little joke.
You got to do that, man. I want to see a clip from that. But you know that it's coming. Like just seeing, you know, I did that show with Romeo the other day, and he said at the end of the show, there's something I want to do. He'd already done light language. He said, I'm going to do light language rap, and I know you do that conscious rap, and I just want to do it for the first time, right? And he did, and it was great. And then he put that production out yesterday or the day before. That was, you know, that was absolutely incredible. But it was the energy and the courage, you know, and the wisdom and the love and the heart that came out. That's what hit me. I didn't even get 4 bars into it. I was like, oh my God, he's doing it. So somebody breaks the door down. The next person makes the door a little bit wider. And the next thing you know, you got a stampede. That's what I see happening here. That's why I get really not frustrated, but it just goes in and out when people say, oh, it's going to be 2020 or it's going to be 2024. There's an event coming or 2028. You know what? This is not a linear experience anymore. It's a quantum experience. Things are moving not just faster and slower at the same time. They're moving multi-dimensionally, you know, and we're becoming more and more and more aware of that as our brain and our mind and our human aspect can handle it.
I agree. I mean, what I do is in the morning when I wake up, I think I've mentioned this before, is I just hand over and I say, I'm all yours. What are we up to today? You know, and then when I feel that flow, you know, when I feel it, I just do what I feel like doing then, because I know I'm being guided by source. Yeah. And if it's have a beef burger, then so be it. If it's have a strong, you know, if it's have a strong cup of coffee, if it's to go vegetarian for 3 months, I will be guided by that because I've let go. So I work now with my feelings and not my thoughts, because this to me is the seat of stinking thinking. This is the thing that complicates. It's the thing that wants to know what's coming up before it happens. So if it doesn't like it, it can control the outcome or try, you know. So as I said before, we need to metaphorically decapitate ourselves, throw it away, and just go with our heart and leave the outcome to destiny itself, you know, because, you know, I don't think there is such a thing as destiny as such. I think that we're creating our own destiny one breath at a time. And if it's done with an open and flowing heart, Todd, it can't fail. That's my feeling on this here. And you know what, mate? If somebody comes in to say, well, you're wrong there, right, and maybe you should look at this, I don't dismiss it, because I don't know everything. I'm like addicted to Soulogy now. You know, as soon as I wake up, I've got my iPad out and I've got it on, and I throw some comments in to say, I'm here, you know, I'm keeping an eye on you, boy, you know, and all that. And well, I've picked up in the last 3 months so much information it hasn't made me change direction, but it's certainly refined the direction that I'm going in. And I think that's what it does. It's like a tuning fork, and it's all about resonance. And I think I'm tuning in more and more and more to see more clearly the area that I'm supposed to be being involved with, you know. And I know, mate, I know I'm right in the middle of this flow. I know I am.
Yeah.
You know,
I can see it, and you can
So-
see it when you can see, and you're seeing more and more of it. You know, it's like multiple streams are all converging. You know,
Yeah.
that's how I see it. I see it like multiple streams converging, like rivers, you know, converging, and so there's synchronistic convergence. Everyone's expanding, but they're also aligning. You know, and I see it happening with Soulogy. You know, I got a message this morning, and I won't mention any names, but I am going to be talking about this again because we're really close. So I get a message from someone like yourself who's been on a few times and says, "So is the plan, is the vision to have more than one show, like, you know, other than Soul Speaks 5D?" And I said, "Yes, more than one show, more than one channel." That's my mission. I know what my mission is. Morgan and I, we know what the mission is. The mission is to just keep multiplying it. And I think because of the physical, non-physical aspect of the internet, this is it. This is the fusion of the two, you know, the two sides of the veil. And so I would say to you that this is a place I know you're going to be pushing your passion and getting the word out. I know that already on a regular basis, you know, so
I feel that too, mate. And, you know, I can't wait. And I think what it's come down to me is really, really simple, is let go, tap, tune in there and say, just please show me one breath at a time. Because so many people, including myself for years, my head was so far in front of itself that I completely and utterly lost touch with my body sensations, you know. And now I'm so supremely in touch with my body. And as soon as something comes in now, I can feel it, I can ask it, and I can move forward. The only time I start to lose touch is when I'm hungry, when I'm angry, which is not very often these days, when I'm lonely, and when I'm tired. And I know I can do something about all those things to realign myself and carry on again. You know, it's simple. You know, if you're hungry, Todd, if you eat something, it takes that away. You know, if you're angry, it's only because something isn't going the way that you want it to go. So you have to let go of that one. If you're lonely, phone somebody up or talk to somebody that you love. And if you're tired, try and get some sleep. You know, so they're putting the physical back and then retune and ask. Okay, what's next then? You know, it is dead simple, honestly, you know. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you can have like pain just because you've tied your shoelaces too tight, you know. So, you know, there's all sorts of different areas that we need to look at all the time: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Those 4 quadrants. A quick scan through those, show us what it is, put it right, carry on.
Carry on. Straight from Dr. Joe, an expanding universe in his own right.
Here's an Irish thing that my mother says a lot, you know. God bless us and save us, said old Mrs. Davis. I didn't think herons were fish. Right. There you go. I just thought I'd put that out. And here's the other thing, being irreligious and irreverent. When I was sitting in silence a few weeks ago, you know, I got Joe. If something smells fishy, be still and know that I am cod. You know, this is how spirits work me, you know what I mean? They just throw these things in, you know, and out they come, you know. And I think, you know, I hope this doesn't upset anybody, but if it does, well, there you go. Lighten up, will you? You know. Because we've lost, honest to God, we've lost our sense of humor. We really have, you know. And of course, it's not appropriate to laugh at some circumstances, and that's where the sensitivity comes in. You know, I listen to some people, and in the most atrocious circumstances, and maybe it's me that's wrong, in the most atrocious circumstances, they're laughing and joking. Don't worry, it's all an illusion. You know, I can't get into that, mate, you know.
Oh, you mean as like a spiritual bypass, you mean? Something like that.
Yeah, like, oh, don't worry about that. It's all an illusion. We've made it all up ourselves. These people may be being massacred, but don't worry. They'll be all right. I can't get into that at all, you know, because I look at these things.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's a subject for a full show, I think. But what I thought you were talking about is people. I love people that get in situations that we get ourselves into. You know, when things aren't always hunky dory, and they can laugh. You know, like laugh sincerely, genuinely, innocently laugh. Without getting into the metaphysical, hey, everything's okay, and all that stuff. Just be able to laugh through anything. You know, I mean, that's a great gift. It really is.
It's a really awoken people.
Mm-hmm.
Sky, who's the highest? You know what I mean?
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. All right. I guess that's
I'm
our
just
sign.
saying, you get into a room with people who are also called awoken. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And everybody's scanning each other, and then they come over and say, "You've got a blockage in your left ankle. You've got a blockage in your," it's like foot on your bike. Leave me alone. And
That's me. That's me. Okay.
I'm me. I'm me, mate.
That's how I feel. You know, it's like I can navigate this. Although I do see this. I do see that certain people, not everybody really, but they have specific strengths in be it a modality or whatever the case is, whatever the function is, and I see us starting to utilize those people, such people like you. I see that happening now. It's not the yogi guru thing anymore. It's something else. It's just like that knowing, it's that knowing. And I see us starting to reach for each other more. I really do.
No, it's good, mate. I know we're in the right place.
All right. Yeah, you're cutting out again. We better sign off. We'll do it again in a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah, it's great shout. Todd, thanks very much for everything, mate. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, all right. Thank you, Dr. Joe. See you soon. All right.
Okay,
Thank you for everything you do.
God bless you, mate.
We'll be back in 2-3 hours with somebody.